Station harmony glowed like a heartbeat against the darkness as the council transport descended. Inside, tension pressed heavier than gravity. Delegates from 50 species filled the observation decks, murmuring in their native tongues. Some came to witness history. Others came to see a human fail. Dr. Evan Cole waited in the central recovery bay, sleeves rolled up, eyes shadowed by exhaustion. Beside him, Dr. Lyra Sen adjusted her scanners. "They've brought half the council," she whispered. "If you stumble, every medical charter in this quadrant will bury your methods." Evan smiled faintly. "Then I'll have to make sure I don't stumble." The docking alarms blared. Automated stretchers rolled in, 30 containment pods, cracked and leaking frost. Inside each pod lay a creature from the rescue convoy that had collided with a mining satellite en route. Radiation burns, hypoxia, and blunt trauma. Lyra's sensors flickered with warnings too numerous to count. "Begin triage," shouted one of the council's official medics. "Separate criticals from hopeless cases." Evan's voice cut through the chaos. "No hopeless cases. Not today." The Krovan delegate's crystalline body flared crimson in irritation. "You will waste resources." "Watch me," Evan said simply. He stepped to the first pod. Inside lay a small, winged creature with translucent feathers and a faint luminescent pulse under its chest. The monitors shrieked. "Heartbeat irregular," Lyra muttered. "Organ collapse imminent." "Open it," Evan said. "You can't," warned the Krovan. "Exposure will accelerate death." "Or let it breathe one last time," he countered. Against every regulation, he unsealed the pod. The creature gasped weakly, wings twitching. Evan cupped it carefully in his hands. "Easy now," he murmured. "You've got to stay with me." The bay fell quiet. Even the machines seemed to hold their hum. Lyra watched his fingers move, steady, precise, but gentle, as though holding something sacred. "What are you doing?" she whispered. "Reminding it what living feels like," he said softly. He breathed slowly, steadily, letting the rhythm of his chest guide the creature's faltering pulse. Gradually, its breathing matched his. The monitors steadied. A low ripple of astonishment spread through the crowd. The Krovan's red hue dimmed to amber uncertainty. Evan handed the small being to a nurse. "Warm fluids, low light, steady airflow. No noise." Then he moved to the next pod. This one held a mammalian predator, long jaws, spine tail, mottled skin. Its wounds were severe, eyes wild. The council medics flinched back. "It's dangerous," one warned. Evan crouched, resting his hand on the pod's transparent shell. "So was Duke," he murmured, thinking of the first creature he'd ever saved here. "Fear looks the same in every species." The creature's breathing hitched. Evan waited until the pupils widened from rage to confusion. "That's it," he said quietly. "You're not alone." He pressed his palm flat against the barrier, and the creature, bleeding, trembling, pressed back. Lyra's data feed blinked. "Heart rate stabilizing." "How?" muttered a Quarite physician beside her. "He's not even treating the wound yet." "Because he treated the fear first," Lyra replied. They moved from patient to patient, Evan speaking softly, keepers assisting under his direction, Lyra coordinating medical precision with emotional rhythm. Within 2 hours, 29 of the 30 creatures were stable. The 30th, a serpentine life form with fractured scales, lay still, beyond saving, or so they thought. Evan knelt beside it, exhaustion etched into his face. "Stay with me," he whispered, placing both hands along its spine. "You've come too far to give up now." He closed his eyes, feeling for the faintest movement. There, one tiny pulse beneath his palm. "There you are." For a moment, nothing. Then the creature shuddered. A soft hiss escaped its mouth, weak, but unmistakably alive. Applause did not follow. Instead, a stunned silence filled the hall. The council chair's luminous form dimmed, then brightened again. "Dr. Cole," it said at last, "your demonstration exceeds expectation. Your survival rate, 100%. Your methods defy statistical logic." Evan wiped his hands. "Maybe logic just needed better data." "Explain your principle," demanded the Krovan, voice brittle. "What did you do that our scanners cannot?" Evan looked around the bay, at the resting animals, at the keepers holding them, at Lyra standing beside him with quiet pride. "I didn't treat conditions," he said. "I treated fear. Every species, no matter the biology, understands safety. When they feel it, their bodies fight to live. You call it sentiment. I call it survival instinct." The chair being's light pulsed thoughtfully. "You realize this will rewrite every standard in xenoveterinary practice." "Good," Evan said, voice steady. "Because the old standards were killing them." For a heartbeat, no one spoke. Then, slowly, the chair inclined its radiant form. "We will reconvene in one cycle to decide formal adoption of your methods. Until then, Dr. Cole, continue." Lyra exhaled, tension breaking like glass. "You did it." Evan glanced toward the creatures resting peacefully. "No," he said softly. "We did." Outside the bay, Lyra's communicator blinked again, an encrypted message from an unknown source. "They're calling it the Foster Protocol, and not everyone wants it to pass." A new battle was already waiting in the shadows. The council's verdict hadn't even been finalized when the storm began. Dr. Lyra Sen stood in the observation deck of Station Harmony, watching news bursts ripple through the interstellar channels. Each headline twisted the story a little more. "Human defies galactic protocol. Emotion over science, dangerous new trend. Council split over compassion method." What had felt like victory now tasted like smoke. Evan Cole walked in behind her, a mug of dark coffee in hand. "They really know how to make a guy sound like a problem," he said with a faint smile. "You are a problem," Lyra replied, not unkindly. "Half the medical guild see you as a threat. You're dismantling a structure that stood for 1,000 cycles." Evan leaned against the glass. Beyond it, the recovery bay glowed in soft blues. Inside, creatures of every kind rested peacefully, their breathing synchronized to the gentle hum of the station's environmental systems. "If 1,000 cycles built walls between healers and the ones they're supposed to heal," he said, "maybe it's time those walls came down." Lyra's antennae twitched, her species' version of a sigh. "Idealism is admirable. Surviving it is harder." Before he could answer, her communicator chimed with an encrypted alert. "Source, unknown. Priority, critical." She opened it. A single line of text glowed on the holodisplay. "They're calling it the Foster Protocol. And some of us intend to stop it." Lyra frowned. "Foster Protocol?" Evan blinked. "That's not my name." "Apparently it is now," she muttered. "It's what the Council's research division labeled your methods after last cycle's session." He rubbed the back of his neck. "I'd prefer something less self-help manual sounding. Focus, Doctor. If this message is genuine, someone is planning to sabotage the vote." The message expanded suddenly, coordinates flashed across the display. "Sector 9 Delta. The Deep Medical Archives." Lyra stiffened. "That's where the Council's data logs are kept. If someone corrupts that archive, the proof of your success disappears." Evan's expression hardened. "Then let's not let that happen." The archive chamber lay far below the main decks, a cold cathedral of light and glass. Data cores floated in magnetic suspension, pulsing with the stored records of centuries. 2 security drones hovered motionless at the entrance until Lyra flashed her credentials. Inside, the air hummed with quiet power. Rows upon rows of crystalline servers extended into darkness. "I hate this place," Lyra muttered. Feels like walking through history that doesn't want to be touched. Evan knelt beside a terminal. If someone's tampering with the logs, we'll see it here. He began accessing the recovery records from the council demonstration. For a few seconds, everything looked normal, then entire segments blinked out, replaced by corrupted code. Someone's already inside the system, Lyra said sharply. Look at that, they're deleting vitals data, treatment sequences, everything tied to your methods. Evan typed faster. Can you trace it? She scanned the code trail. It's coming from off-station. Encrypted through council relay nodes. Whoever it is, they have authorization. A voice echoed from the far end of the chamber. Because the council allowed it. Both turned. The light revealed Dr. Avon Lore. The elder human representative who had spoken at the hearing. His usually calm face was drawn tight, with shadows under his eyes. Dr. Lore? Evan asked. You're behind this? I'm preventing chaos, the man said, stepping closer. Your compassion is commendable, Cole, but it will destroy order. The galaxy functions on predictability, on rules. Your methods are too human, too dangerous. Lyra bristled. You're erasing evidence. I'm preserving stability, Lore countered. If the council ratifies this, untrained healers will think they can whisper comfort instead of following procedure. One mistake, and blood will be on your hands. Evan's gaze didn't waver. Better to try and fail than to watch something die because you were too afraid to care. The older man hesitated, something flickering in his expression, not guilt, but doubt. You believe sentiment can change the universe? I don't need it to change the universe, Evan said quietly. Just to save one life at a time. For a heartbeat, no one spoke. Then Lyra moved, lightning fast, disconnecting the terminal's uplink before Lore could react. Backup secured, she said. Your erasures stop here. Lore's shoulders slumped. Then I suppose history will decide which of us was right. He turned and walked away, his footsteps fading into the hum of the archive. Evan looked at the recovered data, the glowing sequences of numbers that represented the lives he'd saved. History's already decided, he said softly. It's breathing again. But as they left the archive, Harmony's emergency siren screamed once more, only this time, the threat wasn't a patient. Something massive had entered orbit, broadcasting a single message, deliver the human doctor, or we open fire.